This is a video for the Fetiche Rouges Syndicate. Well guys, we've had our best ever sort of result or finish with Radish. We finished in second place up in Canada. We took him up to the Bromont 3-day event. He was pretty awesome in all three phases. This is by far the hardest contest that we've been faced with. This has sort of been a goal of ours all year, and Radish delivered. He was good. When I arrived in Canada, I have to say I arrived on the Tuesday and he was very, very fresh and nervous and a little bit wild, and I really worked him hard for the first day or two to try and get the energy out of him. I think I overdid it, to be honest. This is our dressage test, and our dressage was good. We scored a 29. I think we're in third place after the dressage, but he just wasn't sort of really dancing like we know he can. And I think I made the error of sort of taking a little bit of too much energy out of him. Radish was sort of a bit boring and a little bit sort of behind me. He was a little heavy in the rein, and he wasn't as expressive as I would have liked. And I think I made a bit of an error of like sort of taking too much juice out of him. By saying that, it's obviously, we had sort of had a mistake-free dressage test, but it wasn't as clean as I would have liked it. Three judges. One judge had us at 72%, one at 68%, one at 70%. So they're all pretty close, and we scored a 29. So let's not complain too much. And I think he's still getting stronger. Like in the dressage, he's not really a dressage horse, if you know what I mean. Like he's a bit of a light animal, and I feel like he's sort of got to get a little bit more muscle and strength to carry the collection a little bit. There was a little bit of atmosphere in the ring, but not as much as I thought would bother him. So, yeah, like I said, I regret. I think, knowing what I know now, he's usually well behaved in the dressage ring, of like trying to leave a little bit of energy and excitement in him. Beyond that, the cross-country course, which we've got a lot of footage of on today's video, was very, very challenging. It always is. It's one of the events I like to go to with the 3-star horses, because it's really the first time ever in their career that they have to dig deep and push hard and work hard. Radish, he was faultless cross country. He was very, very sort of bold and brave through the whole course, and if anything, he was just way over enthusiastic and a bit wild and fresh and fast, and sort of running at the jumps cross country. So it wasn't our prettiest round, as you'll see, but by God, we got the job done. I messed up a little bit. I was 1 second over the time, which over an 8-minute course isn't much, but we had one second over, so 0.4 of a time penalty, and we were placed in second place after the cross country. Moving forward, I think it's Radish really had to work hard and try hard this weekend. He pulled up very sound. We iced his legs a couple of times. His feet might have felt a little bit stingy, but not too bad. And then he trotted up perfectly on this today before the show jumping. So all in all, he was very healthy. But I do think the horse needs about a 3-week vacation. It'd be good to give him just a little bit of a breather. Put some more weight on him. He's lost a fair bit of weight with all the fitness work we've been giving him, and also a bit of a mental break. I've sort of been working pretty hard with Radish every day, a lot, especially in the dressage, and he's sort of you can feel it in his body. He's just a little sour, a little sick of me. So 3 weeks rest, let him recuperate, and then I feel like we should do this level a couple of more times this year, and then potentially move him up to the top level of the sport, advanced or 4-star short, towards the end of the year. Our biggest challenge is actually just getting him rideable in the cross country. You'll see, obviously, this dressage is good even on an average day, and the show jumping is very, very good. And the cross country is great. Like, he wants to jump all of the jumps, but he is wild. So we had Friday off. I worked him quite hard on Friday just to try and see if I can get some energy out of him. I also warmed him up for the cross country in the morning when there were no horses around. So I sort of tried a few different little techniques, and if you remember exactly 1 year ago, he was very naughty after fence 1, so I had a good ride here at fence 1, and then about now I've got my spurs dug in here ready for him to spin around like he did last year, but he was on the job. He was looking for his fences, and to be honest, he started quite well. Like if you look at these first 3 or 4 fences, it's sort of how I want him to go, where he's not sort of fighting me and I'm jumping the jumps out of stride. Unfortunately, it wasn't a real good course for him. There was a lot of twists and turns, and this next jump sort of heading downhill, and it was a bending turn in 4 strides to... no, it's the skinny now, and then the next jump was a bending down the hill, bending 4 strides to a very severe angle hedge. The right turns seem to be a little harder than the left turns. Again, I feel like my homework is just to keep schooling and practicing these turns and trying to sort of get him to slow down a little bit by himself. What I felt at Bromont is he'd sort of sight up the jump and then just go faster at it, and ideally it would be good if he slowed himself down and just paused a little bit. So every time you see him chucking his head, it's him saying, "Oh, let me go, I want to jump it out of stride," and I'm trying to sort of get him to slow down and fit one more stride in. He's probably one of the fastest horses I've ever ridden, and the hardest part is actually just toning it down and getting him balanced and slow for these technical, complicated combinations. Like I screwed this jump up a little bit. This was supposed to be a 5 stride, and then he ran at it, and then I pulled back, and I ended up pulling back for a 6. So little things like that obviously take time out of the way he goes. It also sort of end up in a bit of a fighting match with him. The great news is that this horse is pretty enthusiastic, and this was quite a challenging water jump, and he flew over it. This was the longest distance we've ever had to go, and it was quite interesting. When the cross-country courses aren't that long, a lot of the heavier warm-blood show ponies that other riders sort of can make the time, and there was only a handful of horses that could sort of go faster along this distance. He's got a very bendy neck. Every time I sort of go to slow him down, his head just goes higher. He's a character though. He's got a wonderful character too. Like he loves being at the show. We had a number of the Rouges syndicate there cheering us on, and we went and visited him late on Saturday night after the cross country, and his ears were still pricked, and he was still happy to see everyone. He's got a great nature. He's got a little bit of ADD. We're about sort of halfway around the course here, and Rouges is still pulling and taking me to the jumps. About now is where most horses start to tire, and Fetiche Rouges is still sort of pulling the reins out of my hands. After accidentally adding one too many strides on the jump before, this was either a 4 or a 5 stride, and I got a better shot in and ended up being able to get across there on the forward 4. So in a weird kind of way, I feel like he actually gets a little bit more rideable as the course goes on, and he sort of takes a breath. This is one of the last water jump towards the end of the course, and he's still flying. Anyway, we were 1 second over the time. Obviously, if he was a little bit more rideable and lighter in the hand, or a little bit more trained, we could be 30 seconds under the time. He trotted up beautifully. I gave him actually a little bit of flat work before the show jumping on Sunday morning, actually before the trot up. I put a rubber pelham on him and just put his neck down nice and low and schooled him a little bit. Try and sort of stretch him around a little bit, get a bit of the if they got a little bit of aches and pains or a stiff back or something, it sort of loosens them up. And also sort of try reintroduce a little bit of discipline in his riding. And This was the best round we've ever had on him show jumping. It's quite a tough course, and Radish was just brilliant all the way around. Very, very soft in the hand, jumping up nice and high. I angled that fence a bit. So the good news, guys, is Radish actually turns into a better show jumper once he's a little bit tired and exhausted from the cross country. Obviously, most of the competitions that we jump, the show jumping's first, and he can be a little bit of a fresh handful in the show jumping when he's still full of energy. Anyway, guys, we'll get Radish home. He'll have a nice, easy, do nothing 3 weeks, bring him back into work, and then I think we'll find an intermediate or two, try and give him a settled start or something, and then I feel like we're ready to tackle a 4-star short or at the advanced level either at the end of this year or early next year. But after this weekend, I'm very, very sure we've got a big-time 5-star horse. We're nearly at the top of the sport, and all we've got to do is just train him up a bit more, but he's got the athleticism. Thank you for everyone for all your support.